Okay, so now we have question 10 from the SAT number 13, and let's see how to solve this. So 10 says the last paragraph primarily serves to do something. So the way to solve this is to go back to the last paragraph, which I have right here. And what you do is you sort of read it and you just want to ask yourself, what's the main idea? What's the general sense? It's going to depend on your reading skill as to how fast you can do this. Some students might have to read through the whole thing a little more closely. Some students can read it more quickly and sort of gather the key details as they go along. That's reading skill. That's something that has to be built sort of elsewhere. But let's go together and just kind of get a decent view of what's going on in this. So yes, it is all very well to be patient. Be patient, he exclaimed with vexation. But there is an end to patience at last. Be patient, but what money have I to buy a dinner with tomorrow? So we notice that these are quotes from Tchartkoff all the way from the beginning to the end. We'll notice a whole series of questions here. So basically he's asking a bunch of rhetorical questions. This is the common pattern that you'll see on the test. And it's just a common, pattern in writing anyways, where a character or the narrator, the author, will just be asking a series of questions, all pretty much addressing or asking the same point, but maybe addressing it from different angles, right? Who wants to draw? Who wants drawings from the antique or the life class from my unfinished love of psyche, right? Why do I worry and toil? Yes, but of what use is it? And really, the whole main point we end up finding out of this passage is he's basically just questioning the value of holding true to these certain artistic standards, right? Having a sort of artistic integrity, and wondering what's the value of that given that he's in such financial desperation, right? What does he say? He says, I can only sell it for 20 kopecks. Yeah, what money have I to buy a dinner with tomorrow? Maybe it's not here. I thought this is the one where he talks about the landlord asking him. Yeah, maybe it's not in here, but basically what he's doing is he's just continuing with this point. Yeah, patience is good and artistic integrity is good, but what does it matter if I'm not able to afford my dinner, or I'm not able to afford a meal? And so that's what we should expect our answer choice to be. So it says the last paragraph primarily serves to suggest contradictions in his argument. There's really nothing in it that's pointing out contradictions in his argument. There's no obvious contradictions that I see, and mostly because the text doesn't really indicate that to us, we can eliminate this option. B says expose the hypocrisy of his mindset. Again, this is something that if it were the case would have to be made pretty obvious. The text would give us a little signal that this is what's happening. He's being hypocritical. We don't really see that, and if we even think about what he's doing or what he's saying, there doesn't seem to be any hypocrisy. It seems to be pretty coherent, pretty much all together. We give it a B. C says catalog his frustrations with this situation. This seems to be pretty good. He's just going through a whole catalog or a whole list of his frustrations that he has, issues that he has. So I think this is actually a pretty solid answer choice. D says examine the subject matter of his paintings. Even though here we do get mentions of some of the subject matter of his paintings, life class, unfinished love of a psyche, Nikita, interior of my room. Even though he does sort of give these, the whole point is he's not really examining them, and that's not the main point of the passage, to go through these different works of art. The main point of this passage really is more like D, or more like C, which is just going through his frustrations, going through the issues that he has. So for that answer, we should choose C as our correct answer.